So we really are pushing. We're trying to get money spent where it needs to be spent. We're trying to make sure that the money that we do receive is allocated in the right place. To me, it gets back again that we've overcommitted to new programs and revenue has not been coming in. A bigger picture of all this, really the ultimate solution is to get the economy rolling once again. I didn't realize how spoiled I was my first few years down in Springfield when we had natural revenue growth in our state because the economy actually was booming. Illinois was doing well. People wanted to work here. They wanted to grow their business. They wanted to hire more people. Businesses were choosing to come to Illinois, create jobs right here. Right now we're 49, 48, 50th, depending on whatever survey you're looking at in job creation, in desirability of a place to work. And that's killing us. We've got to get Illinois, we are a perfect example of what happens when government comes in and taxes and fees people to death. They will leave. When the cost of doing business includes a huge cost of government, they're going to choose to go elsewhere. We're seeing that clearly in our state. We're also seeing in our nation. We're good paying manufacturing jobs, other types of jobs are going to other countries. And we've got to get our economy rolling once again. That's going to be a longer term. That's going to be over the next couple of years to undo much of what the damage was done under Blagojevich. But we can do it. I really feel like we are positioned as a state to be a place where people are going to want to be. We're central. We've got great transportation. We've got a great workforce that is available here. So my hope is that good things are coming.
We've got questions. Take the questions.
Go ahead.
How would you solve the underfunded pensions problem, crisis? Call it the crisis here in Illinois as well as all over the United States.
Well, my feeling is we need to get away from the pension system altogether. I just think it's we've seen on the private side that it's just become so burdensome, and almost every private corporation that used to have pensions are moving away from that. Now, reality is, and my absolute commitment is people who are in the system, we've got to abide by our commitments to our teachers who are nearing retirement, have made career plans their whole lives. We cannot change midway in the game or right at the end of the game and saying, we're going to take this away from you. I will fight that to the death because people have made that commitment. But it's different, and one of the things we passed just last week when we were down there was real pension reform for new hires. So people who are coming in, we made some significant changes to our pension system. I'd like it to be more, but we really did make some significant changes there. So a couple things. We have to get back disciplined once again of actually making payments on that rather than stealing money from our pensions, which is what's been happening over the last few years. Blagojevich and the Democrats continually have gone in and stolen money out of our pensions. That's got to stop.
You have the same plan for the government pensions?
Yes, absolutely.
They're done?
Yep. Yeah, I would absolutely.
I'm tired of paying for some guy who works 3 years.
Yeah.
What does Denny Hester get?
Yeah.
$1 million?
Instead of waiting for money to come in to start balancing budgets, especially in education, why can't we start cutting programs throughout the whole state, not just in education, but everywhere?
Yes.
I mean, I worked in schools for 8 years, and some of the programs that we were forced to implement were so ridiculous and took instruction time away and cost so much money, but it was just somebody's favorite little...
Yeah, I've been a co-sponsor on legislation to stop unfunded mandates coming from the state. We've got to keep that up. We've just got to, let local, if it's good for a local district, let the local school board decide. Let them pay the consequences if the parents, the families don't like it in there, then you remove that person from the school board. But we have, like you said, that's exactly what it is, a pet project that someone just falls in love with and says, okay, let's force every single district to do this. And it's just a huge expense with very little benefit. So I'm all for cutting programs. Reality is it's tough. I've heard people say that, I don't believe in reincarnation, but if I did, I'd want to come back as a program, a state program or a federal program, because you live forever. You never get a federal program or a state program cut. That's got to change too. We've got to say what they do, and what really upsets me is if they cut a program or talk about cutting a program, they try and make headlines with it. So they go after wheelchairs for sick kids. Let's cut that program, and everybody, oh no, we can't do that. And instead of going after ineffective programs where we truly are throwing money away. There is so much waste in state government, and then you add a bunch of zeros to that amount of waste out in the federal government. And yet, whenever they start talking about cutting, what they'll do is they'll cut human services, they'll cut education, they'll do these things that people, there'll be an uproar. Say,
That's
no,
what
we
they're
can't cut
threatening
that.
right now.
I know,
That's what they're
I
doing
know.
with the schools.
But what we're trying to say is, let's go back and really, let's look at the stuff that isn't working. Let's take money from the things that aren't working, let's zero those out, let's put more money to the stuff that is working. That's really what